Dear friends, dear colleagues from Portugal, my greetings from Athens, Greece. All this period of COVID-19, this period of pandemic. I am very grateful to Beatriz Albuquerque for her invitation, and I am extremely happy because my videos open this cycle of look at the wind. And also I'm very happy that this event takes place in Porto, in Portugal. As you have seen, two of my videos are projected. The first one has the title, the Portuguese title, Sombras Oblíquas, and the second one is the 4 elements of Empedocles. I would like just to give some indications about the two videos. First of all, the first video, that is Sombras Oblíquas. This comes from my book with the same title, published in Portugal in the years of the 90s. This small video is a rather amateur video because it was constructed during the confinement, and according to the indications from Beatriz, it was questioned just to capture our life under the threat of COVID-19. So it was my idea to use some of my objects at home, and with this object to create some kind of narrative. So that's why the video begins with the book Sombras Oblíquas. This book was translated during a seminar of collective translation in Casa de Mateus, Vila Real, near Porto, in Portugal. And also I'm very happy because that time the Marquise Albuquerque, that he was the owner of the Casa de Mateus, and also he's a specialist on Porto wines and also for the Porto. And I was very lucky because he has invited me to go to inspect different vineyards in the Douro area of Portugal. So I have a very, very strong souvenir of the north part of Portugal, the region of Douro, the wines of Douro, Porto, and of course the translation of poetry in the Palais of Casa de Mateus. So the video begins with this book, and for me this book was a great achievement because it was a collaboration of poets in the framework of a European network of collective translation coordinated by La Fondation Royaumont of France. The second element in this video, it was a question of crown, because in France there's a tradition that when you eat a cake and you are lucky to find the coin inside the cake, you take some kind of crown and you become king. So, as you know, the virus is a crown virus. So I use this image because I was in Paris at home of Philippe Lacoulabart et Claire Nancy, and I was lucky because I found the coin and I became the king of the night, and also I had the crown over my head. So it was just a joke about the crown of Paris and the crown of virus. The next object that I have used in this video is a very special kind of globe, not the well-known globe that is a sphere, but it was something polygonal object in which there is a presentation of our planet, on which I have put different colors for the countries in which I had the opportunity to visit and to participate in different artistic activities. So, being at home, being threatened by COVID-19, not having the possibility to go out, I took the planet over my body in order to create some kind of nostalgia and some kind of memory of my trips. That was the idea with this object. And also for finishing this video, it was I have also a horseshoe, having the idea that I'm always ready to go out if I have the possibility to ride a horse and go around and to find once more some kind of liberty of traveling and working and meeting people in different parts of the world. So with this video, it was the idea to express in a certain way my feelings of confinement because of the pandemic. And that was also the question formulated by Beatriz to different artists to express their feelings and their thoughts being in this very strange situation of pandemic and confinement at home. This is the first video. The second video has a very long title. It's a video on the fourth elements of Empedocles. That means fire, water, earth and air. This video was created in 2016 when I was in art residence in Venice, offered by the American foundation, Emily Harvey Foundation. And I stayed almost 2 months in Venice, and I have tried to do a video about the four elements. So what was the origin of this project is that I have discovered that in Italy, especially in Venice, during Easter week, they organize ceremonies and rituals which have relation to four elements. That means water, fire, etc. And I wanted to see how the tradition of Empedocles is alive in the Christian world, because according to the Greek legend, Empedocles, a philosopher who lived in 6th century in Sicily, in Agrigento, he has formulated by writing a poem with the title The Nature of the Things, in which he had the idea that the world is composed of four elements. I repeat, fire, water, earth and air. And there are two principles that are valid, is the principle of love and principle of hate. And according to these two principles, the elements, they go together or they go out of the... So that means there are periods in the human history that the elements create the world, and some other periods the world is destroyed as these elements go out from their structure. So that was the idea, and I was very surprised that, reading different books, that in Venice they have this kind of pagan tradition alive in Venice. So I was extremely lucky because I found a church. That means it was the church of San Francesco della Vigna. That was the first cathedral of the city of Venice. And the building is an exceptional building because it was conceived and designed by Palladio, in this church they have this tradition that during one night there are many ceremonies and rituals in which the four elements play a very important role. And first of all, fire, because in this series of rituals, at the beginning there is no light. They open, they begin with the fire, and they bring the fire inside the church. And after there are a lot of singing and doing different actions in which the four elements are present. So that was the idea, and I was quite lucky because this church has another story, is that San Francisco was in Venice, and he went there with his walking stick. Probably it was a piece of wood of vine, and he put his stick, and from this stick a vineyard was created. So this vineyard is always there, and they produce wine, and this wine comes from San Francisco. Also in Venice there's another island with the name San Michele, that was the cemetery of the city of Venice, in which also there's a vineyard, and they say that the quality between the two vineyards, there's a competition for the best quality of wine. Of course, San Michele, the wine depends on the rest of the bodies of the dead Venetians. It's always metaphysical. Anyway, that in this San Francisco de la Venia, it is always, there's a vineyard, and this church, there's a monastery in which today is one of the most important theological center of research. That means specialists from different religions go there, they stay, and they work in different seminars, and they try to treat common themes in each time from their point of view of different religions, and they publish books. For instance, they treat the question of family, violence, poverty, and in this monastery there is a tremendous collection of reviews of theological research. So that's the atmosphere, and I'm very grateful to people of this church and monastery because they gave me the opportunity to make this video on different rituals and ceremonies during one night in Venice. So this work, it was just research to see how the legacy, how the mythology, how the approach of Empedocles is alive through the Christian faith. Of course, the priests and the people who have participated to this kind of rituals, they don't accept that they are doing something in the name of Empedocles. They say that they're doing all this work because they consider that, for instance, the candle that comes from the church and the fire that comes from the ritual is, in reality, in their eyes, is the body of Jesus Christ. And this candle, in which there are the two letters Alpha Omega, is the body of the Jesus that gives all the year the light to the Christians. They don't want to accept that, of course, there is the tradition of the light and the fire that comes from Empedocles. Also different other aspects of water, for instance, they are doing some kind of scenography that you can see in the video, in which we have the feeling that there is some kind of river. And around this scenography that's inside the church, they are doing different kind of hymns, singing, and different kind of rituals that they consider that have a relation to the Christian faith and the life of Jesus. But at the same time, they are doing reference to the four elements of Empedocles. So that's the second video, and the main idea, it was just to see how the elements of Empedocles are used, are in some kind of metamorphosis in the ceremonies of the church. We have to say that in Venice there is a very strong tradition of ceremonies. One of them is very well known, is that there is a marriage of the Doge of Venice, today of course is the mayor of the Venice, that goes over the sea, and there is a marriage between the mayor and the sea, because the sea, it was the element of the Venetian commerce and the elements of the Venetian power, and between the sea and the city there was a marriage. So every year there is this kind of ceremonies. Of course now they don't have the same meaning as it was the period of glory of Serenissima, but it's a city in which ceremonies are very important. So in this sense, this video at the same time is a kind of celebration of this beautiful tradition of ceremonies of the city of Venice. Once more, my thanks to Beatriz, thanks to all institutions in Portugal who help to produce and to distribute and to show this work. My greetings from Athens. In this second video, my collaborator Efthymis Dimitriou was responsible for the montage. I would like to thank him for his help. Bye and greetings from Athens.